I didn't grow up, I wasn't raised in a sports town. Coming from Philadelphia, we have a professional team, and pretty much most, if not all, of the major categories of sports. Hockey, we have the Flyers, a famous and infamous team, a successful team. And baseball, supposed to be America's favorite pastime, you have the Phillies, famous and infamous team. I would say a successful team, not like the Yankees or the Red Sox, but no doubt Philly is up there. In football, you have the Eagles. There are many of those who don't like the Eagles, and that's totally fine. That's okay. Love and hate is in the heart. It's all right. But one thing is for sure, as soon as I mention the name Eagles, you reacted. Right? You reacted. I pressed the button, you did what? You moved. Point proven or not? Point proven? There's no doubt about that. You love somebody, you hate somebody, your friend, both your friend and your enemy have control over you. Think about that. That's a fact. That's a fact. And obviously that's a discussion in itself with regards to controlling your emotions. But your friend can push a button or press a button, and your enemy can also what? Push a button on you and get you to react on his call. And of course, in basketball, you have the Sixers, let alone boxing, let alone other sports, right? So Philadelphia is a sports town. Sports is like a religion there, like many other towns, right? Many other cities. I'm just talking about mine, that's all. So we were raised playing sports, watching sports, enjoying sports, slap boxing, playing basketball, playing football, playing baseball with a crate. We used to nail to the telephone pole and play basketball when you couldn't afford a basketball court. You played crate ball. So the moral of the story is, if I sat in front of you and said that sports are haram, sports are bad, you can't play sports, you shouldn't play sports, you shouldn't like sports, not only would I be even more hypocritical, not only would I be lying to you and to myself, but it will be impractical and unrealistic. Our children, whether you like it, whether I like it, whether we like it, they're going to play sports, and they're going to watch sports, and they're going to like sports. And many, if not most of our children are going to be infatuated and obsessed and attached to sports and to athletes and players, sometimes more than some Muslims. An unfortunate reality, but no matter how unfortunate it is a what? Reality. It's a reality. So therefore, you can be real about the situation, you can make the best out of the situation, the most out of the situation, or you can live in an idealist type of world, what it should be, what the Muslim youth should be, what the masjid should be, what the people should be. There's no racism in Islam. There's no such thing as racism among the Muslims. But the reality of that is very different. So you can boo-hoo, you can cry, you can whine, or you can make the best out of the situation. So with regards to the older brothers, the older sisters, the parents, the coaches, and with regards to the students, the players, the youth, the Abdullahs and Abdurrahmans, and the Fatima, and the Hafsa, and Aisha, and Asiya, and Amatullah, the young boys and the young girls who love sports. What are we teaching our Muslim youth about sports? What are we, as the grown-ups, what have we learned from sports? We cut on the game, we watch the game. We love and we hate. We wear jerseys, we wear sneakers, we buy expensive things. We go to those games. What are we walking away from our love and our connection to sports? And if our children are going to play the sport, if they're going to love the sport, then at least the Muslim youth should learn something from it. Learn something from sports. And many core values of sports, basketball, football, most of our youth don't have, such as concentration, dedication, hard work, focus, sacrifice, respect. How you play basketball but you have no respect? You don't respect your mother, you don't respect your father, you don't respect the people on your team, the people better than you, the people lower than you, your teammates. That's a core value of professional sports. Is this not the case? At the end of the game, no matter how bitter the game is, no matter how hard the loss is, no matter how bitter the rivalry is, you have to go to midfield and do what? And that coach who outfoxed you, who outsmarted you, that coach who beat you, that quarterback who got the MVP and you got nothing, you got to go to the middle of the field and do what? You got to dap it up, whether you like it or not. And if you don't, know for sure, the reporters, the journalists, the friends and the foes, they're going to roast you the next morning. He's a sore loser. He threw his helmet down like a little tiny baby crying because the referees called the right call. He was offsides. It don't matter how epic the pass was, how epic the comeback was the receiver onside or offsides? He was offsides, you can't get mad. You're supposed to be a good professional athlete. You're supposed to be a good sport. So there are different Islamic parallels, values from the deen that most of our children won't take if we directly engage them. Be respectful, be on time, be clean, practice, review. Don't boast, don't make fun of people. Practice, be on time, leave late. If you told your average Muslim child they just in it one ear out the other, you give them a basketball, you give them a football, then they'll love that thing. You're the best dad, you're the best Abby, you're the best Ummi. All right, no problem, let's make a deal. If you're gonna play basketball, if you're gonna play video games, then at least learn something from them. Recreation. We say recreation, right? Recreation is composed of how many words? How many letters? What are those two? That's right, letters. R-E-C. All right, how many is that? Huh? That's 10. Can you chop the word in half? To recreate something. So recreation isn't supposed to be your destination. It's not supposed to be that you do 24/7. It's not supposed to be your life. It's not supposed to be the thing you wake up thinking about first and you go to sleep thinking about last. But it's supposed to be a small part of your life to recreate focus, to recreate concentration, to recreate hard work. Your body, your mind, your soul needs a break. But that break isn't just to relax and chill, but it's only meant for you to do what? It's like a boxing match, right? You sit in the corner. Or you just want to sit there and drink water, just to sit there and drink water and then get your shoulders massaged or is it meant for you to get back up and do what? What you supposed to do? You go right back into the next round. This is what you're doing. You're doing good, keep doing it. This is what you're doing bad, stop doing it. They take care of your body, you're thirsty, so on and so forth. It's meant to recreate the energy that you just drank in those previous 3 minutes. So in the life of the Muslim, number one, sports cannot be your God, your ilah. And this basketball player, or this football player, this rapper, this musician, this actor, this actress, this personality, whatever, they can't be your ilah, they can't be your God. You can't worship that person. You can't hope for that person like you hope for Allah. You can't fear the displeasure and the anger of that person like you'd be afraid of Allah being displeased and angry with you. You can't devote your life, your blood, your sweat, and your tears to somebody. You can't do that. But at the same time, you can enjoy certain things. And you can like certain things. And you can have fun with certain things. And even if it's haram, even if you're not supposed to, then at least don't be a double fool by just wasting all of your life with sports and not walking away with something from that game. Everybody understand the point that I'm trying to make? Al-Hasan al-Basri, rahimahullah ta'ala, he said, ينبغي لحسن الوجه أن يحسن عمله ولا ينبغي لقبيح الوجه أن يكون قبيح العمل أو قبيح الفعل لئلا يجمع بين القبحين. Okay, Maqal rahimahullah. He says that a handsome person, a handsome man, a pretty woman, their deeds, their character, their behavior should be pretty and handsome. Allah gave you outward beauty, so you need to have inward beauty as well. And if Allah didn't make you so handsome, you're not the most handsome person among your people, your race, your culture, what the people consider to be handsome or pretty, your standards of beauty, then your actions cannot be ugly. And that's because if you have a bad attitude, then you're a double what? You're a double loser. The people don't like the way you look, and they don't like the way you act. I got a bad attitude, bad character, but at least I'm really, really, really handsome. I'm really smart, I'm really strong. So I can, navigate through that. I can open certain doors just by my what? My looks. But you that doesn't look so well, you can't open what? Either of those doors. So if you're going to play sports, you're going to benefit from sports, you're going to be attached to sports, then at least as a Muslim, take something from those sports. And there are many parallels in professional sports with regards to Islam, such as, like we just said, lining up in front of the ball, neutral, zone, encroachment, offsides, false start. There's an imam, the quarterback, right? And everybody is supposed to follow whose lead? His lead. They're not supposed to move before he moves. On the basketball court, the point guard is the coach on the what? On the court. He's supposed to make the decisions. He's supposed to delegate. He's supposed to pass. He's supposed to assist. He's supposed to know when to call timeout. He's supposed to have the most knowledge of the time management more than any other player. You got to call a timeout right now. You got to shoot it right now. You got to take the foul right now. You got to foul the other player what? Right now. And when the team loses, it could have been the forward, the power forward's fault. It could have been the center's fault. It could have been the two guards' fault. But in most cases, the blame is going to fall on the who first? On the point guard. He's supposed to be on a different level of thinking. And in Islam, it's no different. The Prophet ﷺ says, إِنَّمَا جُعِلَ الْإِمَامُ لِيُؤْتَمَّ بِهِ فَإِذَا كَبَّرَ فَكَبِّرُوا. That the imam has only been placed to be followed. When he makes the takbir, you make the takbir. When he makes the ruku', you make the ruku'. So how is it as a Muslim youth, I have no respect for my mother, I have no respect for my father, I have no respect for my elders, but I love basketball? You're playing yourself. Because the person that you worship and that you look up to, he has respect for people that are above him. Even if he doesn't like them. But professionally, he shows them what? Respect. And if he has no respect for his coaches, his career will be short. And that is a fact. No matter how talented you are, your career will be what? Will be short. Some of the greatest athletes, we see them shoot three-pointers without thinking. Giving the ball's in the air, swoosh, all net, three-pointer, just like that, from distance. But you don't see him shooting that same shot 300 times. You don't see him shooting and practicing that move 300 times. So many of our Muslim youth, they want money, they want fame, they want love, they want respect, they want acceptance. Brothers come up to me all the time, Sheikh Mufti, I want to go overseas. Sheikh Mufti, I want to go to Medina. Write me a letter of recommendation. I want to be like you. How did you learn this? How you know so much? Blah, 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 blah. Are you willing to practice and to repeat the hadith the amount of times that I had to repeat it? Are you willing to do that? Are you willing to read? Are you willing to study? Are you willing to give up anything? Are you willing to sacrifice anything? You think it just comes just like that easily? No. It comes with hard work. It comes with dedication. Teamwork. There's no I in team. That goes hand in hand with Islam. The Prophet ﷺ, when he straightened the rows for salah, he would make the people equal. Shoulder to shoulder, heel to heel. He would make sure their chests were equal. He wouldn't allow anyone to be in front or behind. He wouldn't allow any gaps. Allah Azza wa Jalla says, وَلَا تَنَازَعُوا. Don't fight with each other. فَتَفْشَلُوا. And then you lose heart, you lose morale, you lose your spirit. وَتَذْهَبَ رِيحُكُمْ. And your power, your force will diminish. How many Muslims right now, right here? But you got a personal problem with him. You envy him. You got an unsettled beef with this one. You want this one. He's from a different block. He's from a different project. He's from a different race. He's from a different town. He's from a different city. So we're separated and we're different. And everybody wants to be the man. Everybody wants to shoot the shot. Everybody wants the limelight. But nobody's willing to take a hit, to take a block, to sacrifice, to take a smaller paycheck for the greater good. For the greater good. Who has the most Super Bowl rings? Steelers as a team, as a dynasty. How many rings? About 6. Everybody agree with that? Steelers got the most rings? 49 is how many they got? 5. Who got the most rings? Which one? You sure? New England or Pittsburgh? Right, the Iron Curtain, right? All right, which single player has the most rings? After Brady. Think about it. There's several players up there with many rings besides Brady and Montana. Think about Alex Haley.
Does Gronk count?
Tight. What you got? No, it's not Elway. What you got, Sheikh? Charles Haley, not Alex Haley. I just said that. Yeah. Charles Haley, right? How many you got? You sure? And how many Brady got?
7.
What's up with your math? 6. Come on, I mean. Tell you. So Tom Brady right now, everybody listen to this. He has all of these different rings, right? What's one of the reasons why he got so many rings? Practicing. I'm listening in the back. Go ahead. What you say? Good teammates. Keep thinking.
Great coach.
Great courage. Think. It's more.
Leader.
What do you mean by him being a team player? What does that mean?
It's not just about him.
It's not just about him.
He know how to communicate with his fellow
Control his
teammates.
ego. Anybody else? Discipline, dedication. What else? Being humble. You're getting closer.
He was never content.
He was never content. He always had the thirst for more. But it's one thing that I'm looking for. One thing. Anybody know what that is? He took less money for the salary cap. What I'm worth is up here. But if I'm getting this much millions, that means the people around me aren't going to be as what? So let me come down a few notches, even though I deserve up here. Let me come down here. That way we can have quality talent around me. When I take less money, we all going to get what? Hikmah. Sacrifice. So everybody can't be the absolute star all of the time. You guys get the point I'm trying to make or not? So there are many hardcore Islamic values that me, you, us, we can take from playing sports. So the coaches, my advice to the coaches, if somebody's being disrespectful, don't let them play. I tell you, respectful. Somebody's cheating, somebody's lying, somebody's bullying. You gotta tell them like, yo, you're a Muslim before you're an athlete, before you play basketball. Islam comes first. And you as a Muslim, you're supposed to conduct yourself in a certain way. And the discipline on the court translates to discipline in school, discipline at home, and also, most importantly, and most dangerously, discipline on the streets. Because there's many people that have talent, but they never make it to the league. Because they didn't walk away with a life lesson, discipline. You got no business hanging out with these people. You got aspirations to hoop. You got aspirations to go to the league, to get drafted. These people in this corner have no aspirations. Or they have aspirations, but for another lifestyle. and for another career. Their Hall of Fame isn't the NBA Hall of Fame. They have a Hall of Fame, they have a career, they're getting drafted, but that's not your world. You have no business being with them, meshing with them. So if you're gonna lose out on your talent, you're gonna lose out with your chance to get drafted, to make something out of yourself, then what do you think about you losing your religion? You losing your deen. And of course, you losing your legs. You losing the ability to go to the bathroom. You just think about this now. When those bullets fly, they're gonna hit all types of parts of your body. You'll never walk again, the doctor will tell you. And do you know what happens when someone loses the ability to walk? You know the first thing that the doctors do? Anybody know? When someone is paralyzed from the waist down, after they've stabilized this victim who got shot 3 times, 6 times, 9 times, how many times he got shot? One bullet went to his spine, one hit his hip, shattered his hip bone, his leg, whatever the case may be. Once the doctors stabilize him, it's something that they have to do. Anybody know? They put him on suicide watch. They put him on suicide watch. He has to be guarded. He has to be watched 24/7. Why? Exactly. Exactly. When a harsh reality sets in, you will never run, jump, walk again for the rest of your life. You won't be able to use the bathroom in a normal way, let alone be with a woman again. Think about that. The reason why I was living this lifestyle was because of what? Women. Let's be realistic now. You'll never be able to enjoy a woman again. That's damaging to his brain. You can't take that. So many people, they commit suicide. So you lose your life, you lose your deen, you lose your mind, you lose your freedom for 20 years, for 30 years, for the rest of your life. Think about that now. Anybody that's been in jail, you know the reality of jail. The county jail versus the state jail versus the federal jail, right? Someone who's been in that jail for a very long time. Someone who's on death, a lifer. He's the one that talks to the one that just got sentenced. Stop crying, stop screaming, stop getting into fights. You gotta chill. You gotta accept the reality. Whether you cry, whatever you do, you're gonna be here for some time. Make the best out of that. So the moral of the story is, if the Muslim lacks discipline, not only will you lose in the hereafter, but you'll lose what? In the dunya. That's what I'm trying to say. So if you have aspirations to be good at sports and to play sports, you have to follow the Islamic rules. And no doubt, the Islamic athlete is always going to be better than a non-Muslim athlete. That's a fact. Because you know more than he knows. And you believe in something that he doesn't believe in. And the ball isn't your idol. It's not your God. And this one, when he loses, that's his God. He's shattered into pieces. So we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to guide all of us, to guide the Muslim youth, to guide the elders, and to allow us to benefit in this world and in the hereafter. All right? So that's the advice for myself. And of course, it's very important for us to understand that we have to seek knowledge of this religion. And knowledge of the religion is most superior. There's nothing like knowledge of the deen. Being a learned Muslim is better than a doctor, a lawyer, an engineer, a rapper, a gangster, an athlete, whatever you want to be that brings you popularity and fame and respect and love and this and that. You being a scholar of Islam is the very best. That's the very best. The Prophet ﷺ one day was asked, a man came to the Prophet and he asked him, he told him that my brother, he lives off of me. I work, all he does is study. He studies with you. How does it feel that I have to take care of a grown man? In our terminology, we would call him a what? A bum, a freeloader, for sure. Right? The Prophet ﷺ, he listened to this hadith now. He never told the man, don't say this about your brother. He never said, don't complain. Rather, he never said that the man was wrong for feeling that way. I'm a grown man, he's a grown man, I work for both of us. But the Prophet ﷺ, he told him one thing and one thing only. He said, لَعَلَّكَ تُرْزَقُ بِهِ He says, maybe your business is successful because of your brother's Islamic diligence. Maybe you're getting sustenance. Maybe you're making money because of him studying the deen. So this is just one text to show you that knowledge of the deen and studying the deen is always superior. And one of the reasons why it's superior is that knowledge of the deen, and especially knowledge of hadith of the Prophet ﷺ, it pours in every single cup. But every cup or every container isn't poured in this cup. The scholar is going to be useful in the masjid, in prison. A brother who knows Arabic, how valuable is he? The brother who knows Juz Amma, not just Tabarak, not the Quran, he knows Juz Amma. How is he not like a hafid in prison? He's a fighter, he's a this, he's from here, they know me, these people. But the one who knows the most Arabic, and it's not that much, he's put on what pedestal? Is this not the case? Is this not the case? The lady, she comes to the masjid. My son is lost. My son is caught up. Who's the first person she's going to ask to make dua for her son?
Amen.
There's no doubt about that. There's no question about that. The one who says, غَيْرِ الْمَغْضُوبِ عَلَيْهِمْ وَلَا الضَّالِّينَ. Everyone else says, Ameen, behind who? You guys get the point I'm trying to make? So knowledge of Islam is superior. And everything else comes afterwards. But the reality is we're not going to be a scholar. I'm not going to be a scholar. You may not be a scholar. That's fine. But you can't be an ignorant Muslim without nothing. You can't know the basics of your religion, especially at the expense of sports. I study and I play. I study and I watch the game. I perform my prayers on time the correct way, and I'm into business, or I'm into politics, or I like fashion, I like style, I like to look nice. That's fine. But you can't be ignorant of the basics of your religion, right? So with that being said, I'll conclude my reminder. I don't want to come here and rain on your parade, spoil your fun day. It's just a reminder, not a lecture, right? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala surely knows best. If anybody would like to add anything, you're more than welcome to do so, your own personal experiences. And if you have any questions about what we spoke on, about the youth, or about the elders, or the rulings of sports, or whatever, feel free as well. Jazakumullah khairan.
I have one question.
By all means, Sheikh.
It's related to the recent reports that
If the brothers could remain quiet, please. Even if you're not going to sit, please show respect to the people asking their questions.
yeah, it was said now that Devontae Davis accepted Islam. As you know, Devontae Davis,
Okay,
that he became a Muslim.
okay.
And also, they were working on trying to get a fight between Devin Haney, which we're both are Muslims now.
What's the ruling on that?
what's the ruling?
Understood. So basically two Muslim fighters fighting. Well, this is one of the problems with professional sports, is that there are times in which you're going to be between a rock and a hard place. And you have to pick. My career, popularity, a bigger purse, or my religion. So right now, the promoters, the trainers are saying, this fight is what you need, this is good for you, it's perfect. The fans are going to love it. You can keep your religion, you don't hate each other, just a sport. But you're damaging that other Muslim. And even if you win, you're going to be damaged as well. Do you know that when Smoking Joe Frazier beat Ali in his prime, he had a broken jaw. And he won the fight. And Ali broke his jaw. Think about that. Let alone the damage that Joe Frazier did to what? So the moral of the story is, even if it's just a sport, even if it's just a game, somebody's going to be damaged. If not both. And that's clearly impermissible. To bring harm to yourself and to bring harm upon others, especially a Muslim. La darara wa la dirar. There's to be no harm in their religion. So playing boxing or MMA or UFC, whatever the case may be, That's a problem in itself. I will humbly say is that boxing as a recreation, just for a fun thing, is a no-no in the life of a Muslim. Training, learning self-defense, or offense. And it's important to say that, because many people, they water down things too much. And they think that everything is self-defense. No, there's offense too. There are times in life in which you have to engage. You have to use aggression. And it ain't just you defending yourself. So, learning how to defend yourself, learning how to offend someone else, being in shape, protection, these are good values. And I don't think that it's absolutely haram for Muslims to engage in boxing in this light. With the necessary precaution of your head, of your face, of your nose, of your odor being exposed. But boxing as a recreation, as a sport, as a fun thing, just to make money, then obviously it's going to be at least problematic, let alone haram. For argument's sake, there are Muslims who do box, good boxers, and there have been many. Alhamdulillah for that. It's better for him to be a Muslim boxer than be a Kafir boxer. And it's better for him to represent Islam and to say Allahu Akbar and to mention Allah's name. That's better than nothing. But it doesn't mean that the wrong is right. That's what I would say. And if you wanted a specific answer, I would say don't take the fight, in which you're potentially doing harm to another Muslim, or that Muslim is going to do harm to you. It's going to be double sin. Wallahu a'lam. Further, makes sense? Hopefully he facts, inshallah. Me too, Jazakallah khairan. Amen. Further.
In today's basketball game, the uniform shorts are made above the knee. What is that? The
Clear.
solid rolling on out.
Got you. What is the aura of a man? His knees, his thighs, his legs, so on and so forth. Your knees should not be exposed in public. Your quads, anything above your knee, your thighs, shouldn't be exposed in public, period. Whether it's your aura or whether it isn't. Your shorts should be long enough. You got on compression shorts or tights or whatever under, that shouldn't be exposed. But for argument's sake, me and you, we go on a dawah trip. We on a dawah trip, we traveling, right? We in a hotel. It's Friday morning, we getting ready for Jumu'ah. You take a shower, I take a shower. I come out the bathroom and I got some shorts, we're going to sleep, rather. I got on basketball shorts, t-shirt, and a do-rag, right? Not a thobe, not a kufi, not a hat, not hoofs, basketball shorts, a t-shirt, and a do-rag. I take off my do-rag. You see my head. Can I show you my head or not? But right now, you're seeing it. My shorts happen to be above my knees. Do my knees have to be covered or not? But you're seeing what? You're seeing them, right? Me and you in the hotel room on a dawah trip is not like me playing in front of a bunch of people, in which everybody sees my head and everybody sees my knees. You get the point I'm trying to make? There are levels to one's what? Aura. And even if it's not haram to be exposed, it shouldn't be exposed unnecessarily. You get the point? So there's a part of me that everybody's going to see. There's a part of me that only a few brothers are going to see. And then there's a part of me in my body that no one can see except for your wife or that which your right hand possesses. Everybody clear on this? So the basketball shorts should not be tailored above the knees, whether it's haram or not. It shouldn't be, period. And if they are above the knees, then you should wear something under that to at least cover your knees. And there are levels of modesty, even if it isn't haram. A Muslim sister, if it's permissible to dress like this, that's fine, but there's certain parts of you that are just not supposed to be seen by no one. All right? So that's what I would say. Wallahu a'lam. The knees should be covered, for sure. The knees should be covered. Wallahu a'lam. Hey, inshallah. Shamsuddin from DC. Assalamu alaikum. How the Islamic discipline can enhance the skills used in sports or vice versa? That's a beautiful question. The Islamic discipline helping you on the court versus the court helping you off the court. How does Islam make you a better athlete? One example of this is one of the most important Islamic principles is humility. Inna Allaha awha ilayya an tawadahu. The Prophet ﷺ said that Allah has commanded me, has told me, lower yourselves. Be cool, be easy, humble yourself. The Prophet ﷺ says, وَمَا تَوَاضَ أَحَدٌ لِلَّهِ, that no one humbles himself for Allah except Allah gives him what? More might, more strength, more power. So some of the greatest athletes were some of the humblest athletes. And being humble on the court, not only is it good sportsmanship, not only will allow people to love you and respect you, but it's a few secrets in being humble. And one of the secrets of being humble is that when you do lose, the people aren't going to trash you as badly as one who's talking 24/7, I'm this, I'm that, I'm him, I'm this, I'm that. Is this not the case? And that's a benefit for your career. Number 2 is being humble on the court or the ring, the square, circle, the diamond, whatever sport you're playing, it allows your enemy to be haughty and arrogant and to sleep on you. It allows him to sleep on you. And when he's sleeping on you, it's just that simple, right? And that is why we have upsets. That's why we have what? We have upsets. They didn't study. They didn't prepare. He was fat when he fought. He wasn't sharp because he thought it was, it was easy. By not rearing your fangs. Keep your fangs what? Concealed. And only rear them at the what? At the right moment when it's time to bite. And stick them deep into your prey. But before then you do what? Keep your fangs concealed. So there are many different benefits of the Islamic akhlaq on the court in sports. That's just one example. That's just what? That's just one example. The beauty of knowledge. The study of the game. The best coaches are those who knew the most about the game. And they knew the most about themselves. And most importantly, they knew the most about their what? Their opponents. Rather, the real coach, he knows more about the other team than the coach himself. So there are many different parallels of this. Wallahu a'lam. Fadl, Abu Abdullah.
Related to your question or your statement about not idolizing the athletes or the sports stars, what about the case where we have high-profile, very high-level Muslim athletes now? Some of them are extremely at the top, and they're making a lot of money. What would you advise as far as our youth looking at them, looking up to them?
Muslim celebrities. Muslim athletes that are very wealthy, very popular, extremely talented, highly skilled, etc. Icons. First and foremost is that whoever imitates the people is from them. And the kuffar, the Jews and the Christians, they put prophets and messengers way above and beyond what they were supposed to be. And that was a prophet and a messenger, let alone an athlete, who in reality, with all love and respect, and it's not that good. There are people who came before you that were what? That were much better, that were much sharper. You're good, but don't let your head inflate what? Too much. There are people that were much better than you. So the Muslim is supposed to imitate the non-Muslims and worshiping human beings and putting human beings on that pedestal, period. That's number 1. Number 2, how about you learn from the person that you idolize? Like I mentioned the example of the 3-point shooter. You idolize him, but you don't see the hard work that he puts in. So what are you doing right now? I'm 15 years old. What's my daily life like? Oversleep for this career, eat, phone, talk, watch, have fun, blah, 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 phone, go back to sleep, and that's my life every day. So you idolize a person who's waking up at 4 a.m. running. You idolize a person who has the keys to the gym. Think about that now. Think about that. Basketball player who's there after the janitor. Think about that now. The janitor did what? He left. And he's still in there doing what? So if you idolize that person so much, won't you what? Take something from, not all of it, but take something that's working, right? So that's my advice. And that was one of the main points of my talk, is don't be a double loser, sitting back, and that's one of the problems with social media, right? We sit back and watch other people's success. We sit back and watch other people's, ice blinging, right? That rapper, right? That's wearing rented jewelry. It's not real and it's rented. But for argument's sake, it is real. And the money, the stacks of money that he's holding is what? For argument's sake, how do you think he got all of those racks? By sitting around on his phone all day? It's a serious question. How do you think he got all those diamonds? By sleeping? By scrolling? You're not in the studio once again. When the engineer is saying again. The producer saying what? Again. The verse was perfect. Do it what? Again. And again. 20, 30 times. Say the same verse. Now, it's perfect. That's a lot of what? That's hard work. And that's in the dunya, for something that you're not even supposed to be doing. So the moral of the story is the Muslim has to work hard. The Muslim has to be a hard worker. That's the moral of the story. And this person that you idolize, video games, that person who made the game, he's not a gamer sitting home all day playing the game. He's devoted his life just to make this one successful game. So that's the moral of the story. Wallahu. Assalamu alaikum. Bismillah. Do you have to make Salah in Jannah? In Jannah, inshallah, there will be Jumu'ah. As far as 5 daily prayers that you have to make, no. And this is one of the rewards of Jannah. It's like work. My retirement, my pension, after I work 30, 40 years. I shouldn't have to work if I'm retired. It's now time for me to do what? Reap my hard work. Wallahu a'lam. And then the sister, one second, before, Sheikh, stay with me. One day in Medina, right? We was in my library, right? We was in my library. And like I told before, when I was in Medina, alhamdulillah, my library was like, the hangout spot. We would talk about knowledge, argue, debate, and drink tea. Tea, ilm, tea, that was all it was. Everybody would come over my library. My friends, my brothers, or whatever. So, people would come over, and they would sit, and they would, bond. So one brother, right, he made a dua for another brother. Listen to this. He said, زَوَّجَكَ اللَّهُ امْرَأَةً لَا تُصَلِّي لَا تَصُومُ وَلَا تَحُجُّ. He said, may Allah marry you to a woman that doesn't pray, doesn't fast, and doesn't make hajj. So we like, what the heck? Like, what's wrong with you, man? What are you talking about, man? A'udhu billah. What are you talking about? What nonsense? And the brother who made that dua was from Kulliyat al-Sharia. He's from the College of Fiqh and Islamic Law And the brother that he made dua for was somebody from Kulit al-Hadith. And of course, Kulit al-Hadith, we look down upon those other people as being inferior or weaker students. So we like, see, this is what happens when you what? When you go to Kulit Sharia. So the Sharia brother, he said, rather my dua is valid. It's a good dua. I just made dua for you to go to Jannah. And for you to have one of the hurul Eid. Because in Jannah there's no what? Hajj, fasting. You get the joke? Whacking it. You get it? Wallahu a'lam. Right, is that a question?
Yes, she said before the salah ended, you made dua before you ended. She said, what was that?
What was the dua?
No, she was wondering why you do that. Was it the canoe? You did the canoe?
Understood. Question says, before the end of the salah, you made dua. What was the dua? Was it qunut? So on and so forth. Jazakallah khairan. What I did was, what the Prophet ﷺ taught us to do when the Muslims are suffering and being persecuted, being attacked, being killed, under siege, so on and so forth. The Prophet ﷺ, of course, he did this when the Sahaba were murdered, when they were executed, when they were suffering at the hands of the mushrikeen. So obviously the war in Gaza has been raging now, over 3 months? Or about 3 months? 2.5, 2 or some change, so on and so forth. So since the beginning of what's been happening there, and in the West Bank, it's not just Gaza. And it's important that you realize that it's not just Gaza. And I'm a big, big supporter of this. I've been saying this for a while now. Never allow the enemy to put you in his corner. Like basketball, right? You got no choice now but to throw the ball. You can't even run. So therefore, it's easy for us to bring out our dime defense. Nickel, we can do this now because we know that you have to throw the ball. You don't want to be put in that situation which the enemy is dictating to you how it should go. So the war in Palestine is much bigger than Gaza. Just like the war in Palestine is much bigger than October the 7th. Just like the war in Palestine is much bigger than 1948. It's deeper than that. Muslims have been killed, persecuted. Women have been raped. People's houses have been bombed and blew up for a very long time. Many, many atrocities. However, since the beginning of the slaughter of the Muslims in Gaza and in the West Bank, of course, the imams make dua for them. For Allah to heal the sick. And for Allah to feed the hungry. And for Allah to clothe the naked. And for Allah to free the incarcerated and the detained. And most importantly, for Allah to take revenge against his enemies, our enemies, those Zionists. So that's what I said in the dua. And the reason why I said it specifically tonight is in light of yesterday and last night, the fighting and the killing was very bad. All right? As it's been bad. So from time to time, I make that dua and the last raka'ah of Salat al-Maghrib, or the last raka'ah of Fajr, or the last raka'ah of Isha. Wallahu ta'ala. Is it haram to play professional sports? Not necessarily. Not all sports, not all things, not all levels. Some, and even within a sport, it's different levels. Understand? Wallahu a'lam. Khairan inshallah. Alright, let's stop. Second one, khairan. Question is coming from, we'll take a few online if you guys don't mind. Question is coming from Charlotte. EM. I'm assuming from Carolinas. Sheikh, while studying, do you recommend writing a book or digitally? Also, how do you study? Barakallahu feek. Writing on a book or digitally. All right, tell you. Yes. When you're taking notes, some notes, certain notes, shouldn't be written in a notebook or a pad, but actually in the book that you're studying. Taking notes on the margins, on the side of the actual book, yes. And there are many benefits behind this. First and foremost, you never have to worry about losing your notepad or your notebook. Let alone you can read the text, and right next to that text is your handwriting, your summary. So yes, you should do that. And at the same time, I would advise you also to take advantage of the digital note-taking. Whether that's a voice recording, camera, whether you're writing on your PDF with your pen or pencil, use all of those different things, right? If I'm fighting you, I'm gonna have to fight you with my bare hands, a club, a bat, a knife, a bow and arrow, a gun, whatever's needed. Whatever's what? Whatever's needed. Everyone understand this? So the Muslim is always using and exploiting whatever Allah gives him. Everyone understand this? A pen and a pad, paper, digital. What's important is making the enemy what? Bleed. That's it. Doing harm to the enemy, warfare. It doesn't matter how the harm is done, as long as it's what? As long as it's done. And the same applies to knowledge. How you got it doesn't matter. What's important is that you what? That you got the enemy. Wallahu a'lam. Next question says, Assalamu alaikum Mufti. AH from Bristol, UK. Can I say that the Shia are doing more for the Palestinian resistance than the Sunnis without being blameworthy? Can a Muslim say that the Shiites are doing more for the Muslims in Palestine than the Sunnis? Is that a sin? Is that wrong? So on and so forth. The reality is the reality. End of discussion. You're never going to get a sin for saying what you believe to be the reality. That's a sad reality. That's extremely unfortunate. It's shameful, but it doesn't mean that it changes the what? The reality. I would understand this? Unfortunately. So many people, they may say, well, Iran, they don't care about the Sunnis, they're Shiites, they're Rafida, they really don't care about, they just, have their own political interests in the Middle East. Harming Israel, preventing Saudi Arabia from normalizing relations, maybe. But right now, if somebody's bombing me, killing my wife, my daughter, and this person hands me a rocket or a rifle, what am I going to do? What am I going to say? You're a Shiite. I'm not going to take it. Nobody who's honest is going to talk like that. Somebody bombing your house, taking your land, rather, and this is very important, and this is one of the manifestations of how you can never rely upon the media. They make everything about October the 7th and Hamas. Don't you realize that Hamas and most Muslims living in Gaza are third generation victims of Israel? I'm a son of a son of a son of a man who was killed, shot. My great-grandmother was raped and then shot. They took the olive oil trees or the olive trees, they took the orange groves from my grandfather in Haifa or Jaffa in Jerusalem, in this village, this massacre. Just think about this now. Think about this. Think about a drug addict who's the son of a what? Who's the son of a what? Whose grandfather, he's going to be what? He's going to be messed up. He's going to be, I saw my mother shooting a needle in her arm. I saw my father OD. Or think about jail. I did a bid. My dad, my granddad. I come from a lineage of this. So these people here in Gaza, of course, they're going to be extremely desperate. They're going to be desperate. They're not going to look at who's helping them and why they're helping them. But they're only going to look at one thing and one thing only, and that is this person is what? Helping me. So if the Shiites are bad, if they're evil, they're this, they're this. All right, no problem. You Sunni, you help them. You provide for them. You do something for them. And if you can't physically do something, then at least verbally say something. But you're quiet. You're not saying nothing. Rather, you're justifying what they're doing. You're blaming Hamas. It's Hamas's fault. They shouldn't have done that. They had no business attacking them. That's easy for you to say. Your grandmother, your grandfather, it wasn't a victim of this massacre. Your land wasn't taken from you. Your rights, everything was stolen and taken from you. You saw the trauma. Do you know what? Do you realize this? What they would do to villages? Point people out, shoot them point blank in front of little tiny children. How do you think you're going to feel? Of course you're going to do what you want to do. So if the Sunnis aren't helping him, and the Shiites are helping him, so be it. Unfortunately, but what? Allah must stop. So no, you're not blameworthy for speaking the truth and for saying what you see. Wallahu a'lam, man. You never ever have to apologize for speaking the truth. Never. I'm sorry that I hurt your feelings, but I'm not sorry for what I said. I'm sorry that you got mad. I didn't mean to offend you, but what I said, I stand on. That's a fact. I'm not apologizing for the truth, what I consider to be the truth. But your personal feelings, of course, I didn't mean to hurt your feelings. That's not what I meant. I didn't mean to attack you. But I still believe what I said is right. Never apologize for speaking the facts. Wallahu a'lam. Next question is coming from AM from Atlantic City. Is there possible a correlation between the accusation by the wife of the king against Yusuf and the accusation against Aisha? Yusuf alayhi salatu wasalam was scandalized by that scandalous woman. And then there are those who tried to scandalize Aisha from the Munafiqun and also from the Shia and the Rafida, so on and so forth. Is there a connection or is there a correlation? Allahu Alam, I don't know. It's a little different, I would say. Whereas attacking the Prophet ﷺ's wife was in reality an attack on the Prophet. And an attack on the Prophet is an attack on Islam. Everyone understand this? It's an attack on Islam. When someone has to stoop that low just to defame his enemy and his opponent. Everyone understand this? And in reality, if I say something bad about your wife said this and that, and you still what? You still with her. What type of man are you? Your wife says such and such and such. Need I say the words? Everybody in the whole community know your wife is a such and such. Whatever word you use, whatever letter it starts with, an S, an H, whatever the case may be. Your wife is a straight up, she's a such and such. All right. What's part of that is mine? You share the bed with a such and such. So that makes you less of a what? Of a man. It makes you a low man, a weak man, a dirty man, right or wrong. So they attack the Prophet's wife in order to attack. Everyone understand that? So that's first and foremost. Yusuf alayhi salam was different. The woman accused him. And Yusuf didn't have no wife. Yusuf didn't have any power. Yusuf didn't have any authority. Right? Yusuf was a slave. He was brought up in a castle. Yusuf didn't have, it was just throwing the blame upon him. Wallahu ta'ala. And obviously, if you think about it, Allah surely knows, but perhaps one of the reasons why she accused Yusuf of that was because of her own frustration. He was extremely handsome. He was so handsome that when he entered the room, the women went mad. They were cutting up the fruit, and he was walking. They didn't even realize they cut their fingers because he was so handsome as he passed by. And they said, he's not human. He's not from this earth. Look at him. And then what did she say to those ladies? This is the boy that I was tested with. He was in my house. I was in charge of him. I was over him, right? He had access to my bed chamber, right? He was my slave. Now you see? You were talking trash about me. How dare you try to sleep with this boy? You put him in... That's him. Think about that now. So she was extremely frustrated. In most cases, as Ibn al-Qayyim mentioned, the king's wife, we can say 9 out of 10 times, if not 100%, she was beautiful. People who are rich and royal, they go after what? Beautiful women. And rich royal people, they make sure that they always keep the breeding on the end. And they produce what? More beautiful people. Is this not the case? That's how things are. The princess is always going to be beautiful. Her mother was beautiful. In the fairy tale, she's the fairest in the what? In the land. So this woman was extremely beautiful, extremely powerful, extremely influential. She lusted Yusuf, and Yusuf told her no. Is she used to men telling her no? Is she used to people telling her no? She's used to getting whatever she wants, when she wants it, how she wants it, a spoiled brat. So she was upset, she was slighted, and she was frustrated that she couldn't get what she wanted in Yusuf. So therefore she did what? She put him in scandal. Wallahu a'lam. Next question says, Ian from Charlotte, Sheikh, I just joined the HDVIP. Is there any way to interact with students? And what should I do to be kept with what's going on? Is there any group chat? There are different chats, yes. Inshallah ta'ala, we can give you that information, how to reach out, how to contact us and the other disciples. Inshallah, if you can get your information across to us, your email, we can get you that info. And as we were speaking on earlier, with regards to HDVIP, exclusive classes, exclusive content, exclusive lectures, we have on our website, HadithDiscipleshop.com, with a small, very inexpensive monthly subscription. You have full access to all of that exclusive material that isn't on YouTube. Wallahu a'lam. Question is coming from ZW from Tallahassee, Florida. Assalamu alaikum Mufti. Just wanted to say it was an honor to see you, speak with you this weekend at the Fortifying Faith and Family Conference. Alhamdulillah. Jazakallah khairan. Alaikum salam. Thank you very much. It was my honor and it was my pleasure. I'll say this one thing. Friday night, Saturday morning, Saturday evening, I met countless brothers and sisters when we were at the conference in Delaware. A lot of positivity. And then Saturday night and all day Sunday, I was at another conference in New Jersey, NJ Dawah, the 11th conference. And I saw countless people, brothers and sisters, of all different ages, races, classes, all walks of life. Sheikh Mufti, mashallah, 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 jazakallah khairan. But the one thing that stood out to me the most, it was a sister. She happened to be a black American sister, or you may say African American. She walked up to me and she was shaking. I could see that she was like shaking. And I could see that she was like she was holding back tears. And I could see, she said, I'm 70 something years old. And I saw her eyes, her face was covered. But I could see how she was looking at me, like my son. She wanted to hug me, she wanted to grab me. She said, you don't know what you've done for me and for my son. You don't know how you changed my life. And what you did for my son that was in this direction, what you did, you don't know. And she says, I get the chance to meet you in person for the first time, to see you in close distance. She says, you don't know what this means for me. It broke my heart. Think about that now. I don't know who this lady is. I don't know where she comes from. I don't know anything about her. And she's walking up to me. She's old enough to be my grandmother. Telling me, you, by Allah's permission, changed my life. Not I benefited from you. You helped me out. I learned something from you. Oh, that's cool. I see you drinking tea. You changed the direction of my life. So whenever I meet brothers and sisters like this, and they say things like this, we're lucky. You understand? It's more of an honor for what? for me than it is for you. I'm happier to meet you than you are, what? To meet you, if you only but knew. You may look at it as an opportunity. Mashallah, I met Mufti. Alhamdulillah, I got to meet you, right? So may Allah Azza wa Jal gather us all in Jannah. Ameen. May Allah give us better than this world. And may Allah make me better than what you think I am. And forgive me of that which you don't know. Ameen. Last question says, initials ME from Cologne, Germany. Is it wrong to say lakum dinukum waliyadin, not for the kafir, but to stop a debate with the Muslim? Jazakallahu khairan. Barakallahu feek. May Allah bless you and bless all of the Muslims and the disciples in Deutschland and Germany. I mean, it depends on what you mean. If you mean that this Muslim has a deen other than Islam, he's outside of the thought of Islam, then of course not. But if you mean we won't agree on this issue, what you understand, what you believe, how you see it, we'll never agree, then in general, yeah. If a brother says to me, coffee is better than tea, you should drink coffee, you should stop drinking tea, coffee is superior, etc., and I say no, tea. We can't agree. And I said, lakum dinukum waliyadin. Not meaning that he's a kafir, but you have your way and I have what? I have mine. And we want to agree to, disagree or whatever the case may be, if that's what you mean. If it's an Aqidah issue, you're different in debating on Aqidah, and you're fierce, I'm fierce, we can't agree, and you said that in general, lakum dinukum waliyadin, mumkin, maybe, but that's dangerous. And the Muslim might take that as, I'm trying to say I'm a kafir. So just be mindful. And there are other verses in the Quran that you can use with regards to interactions with people who differ with you. You have your way, I have my way. You have your deeds, we have our deeds. وَلِكُلِّ وُجْهَةٌ هُوَ مُوَلِّيهَا. Right? Wallahu ta'ala alam. وَسُبْحَانَكَ وَبِحَمْدِكَ أَشْهَدُ أَن لَا إِلَهَ إِلَّا أَنْتَ أَسْتَغْفِرُكَ وَأَتُوبُ إِلَيْكَ.